Cheers.
Cheers, man. Well, we're back again with another movie type of segment thing. Justin this time actually watched something. Justin Jones,
Hi,
your
everyone.
normal host, and I'm Brian Wayne, like always. So, you're not the type of person to rush out and see a movie normally, but I figure this
The
was
Marvel movies, Star Wars, anything that tickles my nerddom, I definitely am. But
okay. All right. Well, shoot, there's so much to say about this movie because there was so much speculation about this movie, a lot of it being negative, to the point where Rotten Tomatoes even had to like change their policy and shut down fan critiques or reviews before the movie aired
yeah,
because it was just so bleh, it's gonna be like this and it's gonna be like that and it's all part of an agenda and it's not allowed for white people with penises because it's not for you. It's not it's not what
yeah.
I got out of this at all,
Unfortunately,
man.
and you know me, I kind of stay away from all that. If it's something
Dude,
such
I'm
as Marvel that I'm already sold on, I don't want to hear other people's opinions. I don't want to hear spoilers. I don't want to see the trailers. I,
well,
I I already know I'm gonna go see it. I
I,
want everything to be fresh.
I'm the same way. Like that's why we were two white dudes that went in and
Right.
saw this movie.
However, this one caused so much ruckus that every time I told people, "Oh no, 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 I'm staying out of it," they always felt obligated to whip out their phone and pull up some video or some article and shove it down my throat.
Right. There's So, let me start out by saying that if you were to look at my track record of critiques on paper, one would say I would be the first person to boycott this movie. Not a Brie Larson fan. Never have been. Long before there was a Captain Marvel
Mm-hmm.
announcement, not a Brie Larson fan. As far as comic books go, take three. Got it on the third try, baby.
We just talk about them a lot. That's all.
Yeah, it's not a word I use often. I don't like the character Captain Marvel. As never
Mm-hmm.
have.
Right.
I was introduced to her in Civil War 2
Well, okay, you are a little biased here because why do you not like her?
because in the story of Civil War 2, that's not I can't you can't contribute 100% of why I don't like her to a
True,
single
but
event.
that that
You can't no you're hurting my point right off the bat. Yes, there is an instance in Civil War 2 where she breaks Tony Stark's back. But throughout that entire series in
Mhm.
Civil War 2, it took 8 issues to get there. At issue 1, I didn't like the bitch. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
So, now with that being said, Feige has announced in the MCU that Captain Marvel will be the face of the MCU from here on out.
I
That
have heard
worried me.
that. I
That
have
worried
heard that.
me before I saw this movie. That worried me deeply because I thought, well, that's a very bland character they're putting on there. And then they announced who was playing Captain Marvel, and I was like, uh-oh.
Double strike.
But in faith in Marvel, they haven't let me down yet. Haven't let me down. Every time I was like, that casting is probably not gonna be good. Well, I was proven wrong, and I have been proven wrong. And I can say now, was this casting good for the Captain Marvel in the comics? No. But I like this casting because, for one, I was worried that we were going to lose the fun that Tony Stark brought to the screen as being a leader.
Right.
Because Captain Marvel in comics has never, ever seemed fun to me. And I was like, oh shit,
I'll agree with that.
this is bad. Like, what are we going like DC universe? Like, are we gonna start going darker? Are we gonna start taking the humor out of these movies? And they took their liberties and they made. And I said this from the beginning. I said I hope Feige can make this character that I don't like and make this actress that I haven't really just not enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And I have faith that they could turn me around. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start the podcast by saying that, yeah, this is. I think I would be okay with Captain Marvel potentially being the face at this point. I've already come to the conclusion in my head that Tony Stark gonna die, and I don't like that. But
Man, now we're getting to pure speculation.
well, here's the thing. But this is why the speculation kind of makes sense to me. It's not pure speculation. There are facts behind this hypothesis. With that being because of how this movie went. It's my first thought was, well, Captain Marvel is gonna rescue Tony Stark in space. Without spoiling anything, I could tell you that ain't gonna be what happens.
Doesn't appear so.
Probably not. And that gets me into my next point. Nothing about this movie is what I thought it was plot-wise, and that I enjoyed. I had a conversation on the phone with a very huge naysayer before this movie. He was trying to convince me. I'm not gonna say who it was, but he was trying to convince me that I'd be wasting my time, and this is going to be freaking Ryan Johnson down our throat and all of this stuff. No, man. No. I'm so happy he was wrong. I didn't think he was going to be right. Everything, as far as like my enjoyment level of this movie, on par. There's no disappointment whatsoever. So, with me blabbering on, what did you go into this with? Like, what type of expectations did you have?
I didn't really have a whole lot of expectations. I expected Marvel to do what they've done in the past and give me an entertaining movie. And I definitely felt like I got that.
This was an entertaining movie. There were definitely moments where I was like, that was cool. And there were moments where I was like, well, this, okay, right on. You know, I see why they're doing this, but this is not necessarily for me at this moment. But that doesn't discredit anything. It doesn't have to be 100% for me for it to be good or bad. Like, I like the fact that they could take that away and steer it for it, and then steer it back. You know, regain my interest again. Because every moment that I thought, might have lost me, they steer it right back on. They find, Nick Fury says something freaking hilarious, and yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of really positive parts of this movie. Again, I didn't have any criticisms or preconceived notions for Brie Larson. I don't think I've seen any of her work other than Scott Pilgrim, and that was a decade old. But I think she did fine. I think she's a talented actress. She's able to play the part.
Yeah, no, I was taken back at first because the whole time I was like, well, shit, it's not really Captain Marvel-y to me.
No, it didn't feel like Captain Marvel, but I'm okay with that.
Because I don't like Captain Marvel, so
I like Captain Marvel, but I like Captain Marvel in the same sense that I like Superman. He's a cool character. It's easy to root for him. He's a symbol for hope, but kind of boring. Like one of my favorite things about Carol Danvers to me is that she's a recovering alcoholic. Like it's the human side. Like, okay, you have this really powerful person, but they're human. I like that, and this movie did a good representation. Never once was I like, oh well, it's a cardboard box, that just has superpowers. No, like they felt very human.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. As far as this is obviously clearly an origin story.
That is my biggest criticism to this whole thing, because I'm so sick of the origin stories. I know Marvel feels they need to do it, and I suppose it works with the way they did it thematically. Like for the story, alright, I get it, but I'm really over origin stories.
I get you with the origin story thing, but I think if they had to pick characters to do origin stories,
true,
I really do think
people...
this is a character, because especially if it's going to be the character that's going to be the air quotes face of the MCU.
You're not wrong.
You gotta have from here on out, we don't need a Black Widow origin story. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They're gonna do a Black Widow origin movie. We don't need that movie.
I don't know. Her origin is some of the best part of her story, though.
Yeah, but dude, we don't need it.
True. I mean, we don't need it, but there's a lot of people who
Is
don't
it going to
know
be
her
entertaining,
story.
And is it going to take my money? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it will get my money. But it's going to get my money with the same reluctancy that Captain Marvel got my money. It's like, I got to do this because I'm so true to my brand. I love what it hasn't let me down yet, no matter how reluctant I go into it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think the MCU is ready for Captain Marvel yet. I'm not gonna lie. I think they could have, but they don't have the mutants yet and all this other stuff. And
every time I keep thinking who I would like to see, if we're gonna have a new face of Marvel, I don't know that Captain Marvel would have been my choice, but it turned out.
No, honestly, I think if they really had to create a new face, I think Doctor Strange would have been their best bet, because you got Ben a Slick Cucumber Patch, And
Oh no, no.
he's
You want to try it again?
no, I got it right the first time. He's got the everything to. I mean, he's got the look. He's got the character power for sure. He's still a member
Very,
of the
very
Illuminati.
charismatic.
They could. I can't say they could really make Black Panther the head yet. He's just not established enough. I don't know. We got Wakanda and all that, but I just
It could work story wise. I mean, they're doing it in the comics right now.
yeah. But if they had to bring in a new character to be the face of Marvel, I guess Captain Marvel, I mean, on
Sure.
paper does make sense. Yeah, I don't know. I see where they're going. I mean, I don't see where they're going, which I love with this, because I used to be so good at mapping all this stuff out, but since I've refrained from doing any research on these movies anymore,
Yeah.
I like the
I don't
surprise.
know.
I
Yeah,
really
welcome
do
to
like
my world,
I really
man.
do like the surprise. I used to be a trailer junkie. I would watch trailers 5 times when they premiered at 6 in the morning.
I've been
Watch
that
them
way.
back to back.
And then you get so disappointed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I'm just tired of being right.
Fair.
Like it
Fair.
sounds cocky, but I'm like, well, I pieced it all together. I could not have been more wrong in almost every aspect of this movie. Let's talk about the scrolls. We saw scrolls immediately. There was no big scroll review like. If you immediately saw the scrolls within like the first 3 or 4 minutes.
I was happy with the way they did it because I was so worried that it would be like one of these. Oh well, we're always looking for that one person. Is it you? Is it me? We can't trust anybody. Like, but they didn't hang on that as the big bad plot device the whole time. And thank God.
No.
That is such a dead, beaten trope.
Yeah, and that's what I was so worried about. There were a lot of things I was worried about that didn't come true. One of them being the Who is Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Well, didn't see that one coming.
No,
and
me neither.
we're gonna save the last portion of the podcast with spoilers. So
Yeah.
so listen free for now. We'll give you a very
We'll
clear
warn ya.
warning when we're gonna start talking about it spoilery.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we're gonna keep it clean for y'all.
Yeah, the reveal of Marvel was not what I was expecting.
No, but at the same time, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it. There's just so many surprising things in this movie.
They took plenty of liberty on her origin story, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I mean, I really am.
How do you feel about the blast? Like the actual consumption of the energy and all of that? Like that's not how I mean that's not how it happens in comics. But I still that was really the one part where I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And that kicked into my head. I was like, "But that would be happening too." And then I had to slap myself and go, "Comic book physics." For instance, when the big boom happens and then so and so is standing right there, and then nothing happens to so and so.
Well, maybe human versus such and such.
No, no.
It's something that a writer could easily play off, but as a movie,
Comic book physics is how you have to play
well, I mean,
that.
it's entertainment. You have
So
to
and
have
so was
a
standing
level
perfectly
of,
in front of so and so, or in front of the thingy.
You have to have some small level of disbelief. It's a comic book movie.
Well, and that's
shooting lasers from hands. Like, let's not get caught up in the, well, that's not realistic.
Right, and that's why I had to stop myself for a second, because the scientific side of me was like, no.
It was entertaining, right?
Well, yeah. No, it was no. Though at first I was like, whoa, that's cool, but immediately, like I said, the scientific side kicked in. I was like, and then the comic book side kicked in. I was like, freaking enjoy it, dude. That was cool. Like, don't worry about how that would have happened or whatever. Because there's definitely more than one moment where you're like, no, but it's still
sure.
It's
now. I want to talk to you about dialogue. What did you think about the dialogue?
That was my biggest beef with the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Now there was a lot of stuff that was really corny. However, I felt how the dialogue ran between a lot. There were just so many moments, but I just kind of like lost that immersion. I was like, whoa, just like a comic.
No, I thought it was really forced. I do. I really think the dialogue was very forced, especially with Captain Marvel. Sam Jackson's Nick Fury was. It took me by surprise. That's not the type of Nick Fury I expected. He's
I
definitely a
didn't,
younger,
I didn't know we would get so much of him.
not hard. Yo, yeah, I did not expect that at all. Like, this is very much this is almost very close to a Fury origin
I will
story.
say I have to give kudos to the direction because that easily could have been a Samuel L. Jackson movie. I mean, he could easily have dominated the screen, but they did a really good job of making him a main character, but playing like
It
the
was
perfect
balanced well.
sidekick.
It was
Yeah.
balanced well. It was a buddy cop movie, is what it was.
I mean, he's just such a great supporting role, and he just man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no beef with Sam Jackson's. Has the dude ever messed up a role? The guy's been, like, his IMDb is, like, 43 million movies deep.
I haven't seen a bad one.
No, the dude, he's just so on point. He knows what's up. And he did fine with this movie. I actually be as so bold as to say I don't think I would have liked the movie nearly as much if Sam Jackson wasn't in it. If they would have taken out the Fury aspect
He was
of
a
this,
very entertaining part of it, for sure.
The dialogue would have been, Fury did a good job of delivering what I consider to be mediocre dialogue. And when you say comic booky, yeah, it's comic booky, and then you should, but
I don't know,
not,
but like
but
it
not,
is a comic book movie, and I like that.
yeah. I think I was just taken back as the character that was delivering the dialogue, because my whole time I'm like, Captain Marvel would never say that. Like, almost every line that came out of Captain Marvel's or Brie Larson's mouth, I was like, that character would never say that. But then I kept telling myself, I was like, they're recreating the character just like I asked for. How could I be mad right now? They're giving me what I asked for. They're making something I don't like and making it something I possibly could like. I can't say that I love this character, but I can't say that I'm not going to love this character. Like, there's a lot of room to grow. But I don't know. Like I said, I was mad at first, but then I realized that they're appeasing me. They're doing exactly what I hoped they would do, thinking that there wasn't a chance in hell that they were going to do what I wanted them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Being that, according to the media, this was not not the movie for me because of my gender and skin tone. Nah, nothing about that said this movie wasn't for me.
All right, let's talk about tone. I want to talk about color. What did you think about the colors in the movie? I thought most of the movie was very dark, but there was a lot of bright colors that really reminded me again of those bright swishes across the page.
This was no Thor Ragnarok. This was no Doctor Strange.
No, definitely not.
No, this was kind of like Captain America. Like, it was a origin story, like a dull, drab, back in the past origin story.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I thought the tone was actually just fine. Like, I'm glad, because I was starting to worry that Marvel was just going to start doing this, well, bright colors are selling, let's just keep doing that, and eventually, start hiding messages, and, like the mainstream media does. But, tinfoil hat. I should give a spoiler before my tinfoil hat theories, huh? I'm going to start doing that. Anyways, no, I thought the color tone was perfectly fine. But now that you mentioned color, that actually has to do with my biggest beef of the movie.
Yeah.
The suit color change. That little kid knows how to work that alien technology. Like, I know we got, like, comic book. No. Sorry, dog. That little kid is not working that. I couldn't figure out how to work that.
Of course not. Of course not.
No.
But
bull.
They put it in there because it'd be cute. Whatever. It didn't ruin the movie for me.
That cat was plenty cute. Goose was all the cute we needed for that movie. The kid, outside of everything else, was all the cute we needed for the movie. The just automatic knowledge of alien technology, that's something that I can't ever buy.
Okay, well, how does Brie Larson know how to use it?
She's been bred as bit of Kree for 6 years.
Okay, 6 years. Sure. But did they transplant that information into her? Maybe just, you touch it and automatically knows what color you want.
She's had the suit for 6 years. She's messing around with it. She's dicking with it.
Yeah, you're right. I know. I'm trying.
I know you're trying to play devil's.
No,
because that's the thing is you can't save that. They messed that up. But everything else is very, very okay.
I don't think they're worried about messing that up.
No, because they got a $800 million movie on their hands. That's why they're not worried about it. This movie's gonna make a lot of money because everybody on one side that was like, this movie's gonna be this and this is gonna be, you're gonna conform to our ways because not white power.
Yeah,
and
it's so hard.
And then, but when the movie didn't deliver that, that same side couldn't go as far as to say, well, this movie sucked because the movie didn't suck. It was still, it's not like it shat on women's rights or anything like that, but it was not shoving anything down anybody's throat. There was one moment in the beginning where I was like, I see where you're going here, and like the whole cockpit thing, like her training thing is like, there's a reason they call it a cockpit, and then they played it twice, and I was like, and it happened so early in the movie, I was like, this is what, everyone was right, and then boom. That was it. That was the last moment I saw that.
That moment, and then some of the song choices.
Let's talk about the song choices. Let's talk about the music. Alright, there are 3 things I was very, very excited for going into this movie. Mm-hmm. None of them had to do with Captain Marvel. First thing was how it was going to tie into Endgame.
Right.
The second thing was the Skrulls.
Yep.
And how long they've been infiltrated on Earth and that whole thing. And the third thing was the music. 90s music is my shit. Alright? I know 90s music. I mean, just, my whole thing.
That's our generation.
Oh, buddy. So, as soon as this movie was dropped and then they said it was going to take place in the 90s, my whole thought was this movie can be absolute dog shit as long as they play one song. And there's a song that I thought would have been absolute, and I say would have, spoiler, it didn't frickin' happen. Alright, they tried to do a grunge thing.
Yeah, heavily.
Alright, so, I'm all over the place, like, I'm getting ready to, like, rant, because the music, it had great songs, but it disappointed me because they had all this opportunity. For one, they needed to play The Rooster by Alice in Chains. With the goddamn mohawk and everything when she's flying through space and blasting shit.
That might have been a little bit more of a stretch. Yeah, I can see that, though.
No, they needed to play The Rooster because it was the perfect tone, and they went with the wrong tone of music for that scene. And I'm not spoiling any scene because this is the trailer scene. I'm a rooster and I'm...
Think really colorful with the mask.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. But that should have been the rooster. But the big montage song, I know this is probably the one where you're like, let's have a chat. I was like, why didn't I think of that? And I might have even thought of it and forgot about it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought very, very hard about what the soundtrack of this movie would be. One of them I had,
Are you talking about the end or the one in the middle?
The one in the middle. When she's... No Doubt.
No Doubt, yeah.
The No Doubt song. Mm-hmm. I'm Just a Girl. Now that I think about it, I might have actually thought this song needs to be in there. And just because it happened, it was so perfect. When the song came on, it almost felt natural. I was like, alright, cool. Now, was this an agenda-pushing song? Hell no, it's No Doubt, man. This is Gwen Stefani. No Doubt has been the shit since No Doubt.
Yeah, but so many of the songs in scenes where it was just, Captain Marvel being a badass, not because she's a woman or not because, it's against a misogynistic, enemy. No, it's just like, I'm just a girl. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it was only because I've had so much of that stuff shoved down my throat this past couple weeks. Yeah, but do you know the actual lyrics
to that song? Like,
no, I do, for sure. Oh, come on.
She's a badass, dude. Like,
Gwen Stefani is like my high school crush. Come on. Every boy in the 90s.
No, I thought that was a good song choice for that. Not that any of the... There was just... Really
None
deep
of them
down,
bad.
there's just a million great
off.
90s songs that they could have put in there, and if there's one dream job I could ever have, it would just be the person that is in charge of music for movies, because I feel like if I have a superpower, if I had a superpower, I feel like I do have a superpower, and that's that I could almost tie a song to any scenario at any moment, any given moment, any sentence could remind me of a lyric in a song. So, it's hard for me when a song comes on that I have in my head. I was like, I would have done that differently. I think that I'm Just a Girl was great. I really needed to hear Rooster by Alice in Chains. We did get one grunge band.
We did. Got Nirvana.
Yeah, and as soon as it came on, I was like, I wouldn't have played that here. That needs to be an end song. Like, so I think that a lot of the music was very misplaced. I just think that I don't think they had the money
I
for it.
didn't dislike any of the music though.
No, no, all of the music was good. It's just that I think I could have thought of a better song for almost every scenario.
Yeah, but
But that's my superpower.
this is their
It's not their.
artistic.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I'm not shitting on the music. I'm just saying I'm really disappointed that they missed an opportunity.
We could have
with
been
the
much more
Rooster.
disappointed.
Oh yeah, no, there was many opportunities for disappointment that just I don't really think came about. But the music is my biggest critique. I think it was just the one thing they didn't miss, but they missed. If that makes sense.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Whew. So are we getting? We kind of already touched on the humor a little bit in this movie. A lot of people are starting to complain that Marvel movies are just too filled with humor. Like Thor was just way too.
Thor was excessive, but it was fine.
Guardians of the Galaxy, little.
Oh yeah, okay, but that's Quill. Come on.
No, I'm just saying. Like they're choosing all of these humorous things.
Fair,
And
fair.
Captain Marvel, as I
Who doesn't like to
explained,
laugh?
no, everyone loves to laugh, but is it proper for them to take a character that, and just like make it that tone? Thor was not a laughable character, and they did the first two movies super dark and drab, and they just like, oh, well, all of a sudden he's funny. Oh, cool, the Guardians just needed to be what it was. Like
Right.
that's what made it successful. If they did that dark, that movie would be nothing because the majority of people didn't even realize those were comic book characters, in the Marvel universe.
I feel like so many people get so worked up and they expect like all these Marvel films, like they put them on a pedestal. They have to be great. They have to be amazing. They have to be no. They set out to make entertainment,
Yeah.
and they are always entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. They absolutely are. There's, yeah. I feel like I was going somewhere with that, with another point though. Shit. Nah, whatever. I'll get back to it. It'll circle around. That's how my brain works. The comedy thing. That's what we were doing. So do you think this movie had too much of it? Just enough?
Just enough. I mean, it wasn't like forced joke after forced joke after forced joke, and they didn't start the movie with it.
No.
Like they put it in where it could fit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Man, some of the comedy in there was perfect. Some of it, like I said, was hand-fisted. I actually think that there was a little too much in here, and I thought that there really was more than I thought it was going to be, and I've already established that point. Like
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be a
Stoic.
kind of like the first Thor movie.
Yeah.
And I actually love the first Thor movie, but that's neither here nor there. But that was not the tone I got at all. So that brings me around to my favorite, or the question I was getting to. Favorite joke. What was your favorite joke in the movie? There's got to be a one-liner in there. I mean, because that's how they roll, is one-liners. The back and forth one-liners between Fury and Larson were pretty non-stop. Like this was a buddy cop movie, straight up. That's
A
what
lot
it
of
was.
points, definitely.
Well, maybe if I told you mine, that spark yours.
What's yours?
So when there's a conversation between Fury and the Skrulls, and he's trying to get them to, like, hold on, you shapeshifter, blah blah blah. He's like, well, can you turn into this and can you turn into that? And Fury straight up goes, I'll give you $50 if you can turn into a Venus flytrap.
Yeah. I mean, that was just classic.
Best line of the movie. Best line of the movie
Classic
by far.
Jackson.
It was. Well, I don't. Yeah, I guess. It's not classic Fury. But I like the fact that this is a younger
I like
Fury.
this younger,
Before he's less
more
hardened.
sarcastic
Well, he's
Fury
less hardened.
because he's always cracking on the sarcasm
Right.
from other people.
Right. Like Shield is established at this point. So I mean, I don't know if you guys consider that a spoiler a lot or not. A lot of people predicted that Shield wouldn't be a thing until after the movie. Like that was going to be like the end credits.
They're gonna
scene.
find Creel technology, and that's what's gonna start.
Well, no, I mean not necessarily. It's just like that would be the end credit scene where, Fury approaches Coulson and is like, we need to start or what's her face, Maria Hill. and says, we need to start so-and-so because there's aliens out there. No, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s already established.
Yep.
Beginning of the movie. Aliens, or Captain Marvel is not what sparks the start of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Nope.
So, first prediction right off the bat.
Debunked.
Boom. Debunked. So many of them just gone. Like, the scroll motive. Like, we're not going to talk about it in this part, but not what I thought it was at all.
No?
Nope, not what I thought it was at all.
I liked what they did.
I really enjoyed what they did.
I,
The actor that play I don't know who that dude is, but the guy that plays the Skrull General, forgive me, I don't remember his name, but the Skrull leader, some Australian dude. I don't know why the Skrull has an Australian accent, but whatever, I forgive it. It's cool. I always like Australian accents. But that actor was dope. The first 5 minutes I was like, what the hell is this? Like I don't think I liked his first few lines, but as the movie went on, I was like, oh shit, this guy he's got range. Like, you see all types of sides of this character, and like I said, it was weird that he had an Australian accent, but I buy it. Whatever.
yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah. No, the Skrulls are dope, and that was the number 2 thing that I wanted to see the movie for, was the Skrulls.
Yeah, they
completely surprised me. Didn't give away what I thought they were gonna give away. I thought there was going to be some like giant reveal, and it was just a cool Skrull movie. Like,
yeah, we didn't spend the whole time of who's the Skrull? Are you a Skrull? Am I a Skrull?
Yeah, no, this
They didn't beat that down his throats.
No, they did
Very
not.
happy about that.
Yeah, no, they established real quick and fast that Captain Marvel, she could spot them. She knows what's up. You know, they're sloppy as far as like they're blending in. Well, I mean sloppy as far as, you know, not getting caught by Nick Fury and Captain Marvel.
Right.
You know, like it's. So yeah, no, it's I thought it was well toned out. There was nothing completely unbelievable about it.
What about the action scenes?
The action scenes? Oh shit, dude. The fight scenes were on point. I thought
Really? I thought they were a bit weaker than most of them.
No, I thought they were perfect because it's.
Now there were some really good fight scenes, but a lot of them, I don't know. A lot of them were just a little more bland than usual.
Well, for the first 3/4 of the
choreography.
movie, she's not even like fully powered. Like that's one thing you have to keep in mind. Like she's, and I guess that is kind of like one of the quarrels I might have with the thing is like she's just all of a sudden like, oh, I'm better, but whatever, you know. I guess
character development.
Maybe I have to watch it again, and maybe I missed something in the tone or something to kind of like segue that better. I just thought it kind of like skipped real fast, but whatever, not a big deal. Nothing that I hated. If I didn't write it on my hand, I probably didn't. I was writing notes on my hand in the dark the whole time. I'm surprised on how much.
Can you read any of that?
I actually can. Like, look at all of that. You can higher, further, faster, Venus flytrap, Veers. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the name. The name was very predictable as far as how that went. Originally, I was like, my first thought was, all right, what's he calling her? Veers. And I'm like, oh, see where this is going. That's the other half of a dog tag.
See, I didn't think that right away, but I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's obviously Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
How are they gonna wrap this up? Like,
well, and then the introduction to her old partner and the daughter, and Carol, and I was like, oh, there it is. All right, cool.
We're getting awfully close to spoiler territory here.
Yeah, no, this is all. It's not gonna ruin. None of that's gonna ruin the movie though. Like they all know this is an origin story. Like that's trailer stuff.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I keep pointing at a screen like.
That's there's something on there. Nope,
TV.
Just Deadpool.
Pointing at a box. But yeah, no, I'm not ruining anything there. We're fixing to though. We're fixing to get to that point where we start ruining stuff. But before we do, is there anything else you want to talk about? Goose. We gotta talk about Goose.
Goose, one of my favorite characters in the whole movie.
Yeah. See, all right. Originally, a lot of people are like, oh, Goose is gonna be a big part, and I'm a guy that really just not a cat guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, ew.
That's why you never come over to my place.
Cat to be a character, like I don't understand this reference at all. And to this moment, I don't understand why the cat's a reference. Plays a pretty big freaking part in the movie. Sweet part. You get to see a side of Fury that you won't see in any other situation.
Nope.
That might be a part. I was like, all right, too much, dude. But at the same time, the too much
I
is
liked
almost
it.
perfect.
I like.
If it wasn't too much, then it wouldn't have been enough.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It was just like kind of like a joke that's funny, and then stops being funny, and then becomes funny again.
Right.
That's exactly how it played out.
Well, and I think and I hate to say this, but I think the reason why it stops becoming funny is when
the shock value's gone.
Well, no, Captain Marvel's interactions in it, because I don't like her dialogue when the cat's involved. I think a lot of her dialogue just could have been a lot sharper. I really do. I think, but maybe there's a tone that they're trying to create that I'm just not getting. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to connect to kids. No offense to the writers, but maybe, I mean, they're trying to dumb it down a little bit so kids can get in on it. I don't know. I just think that they could have been a little better with a lot of the dialogue. But at the same time, a lot of the dialogue it drew me in as someone that went in with, like I said, not high expectations, mediocre expectations. And I would say overall that this movie is it Infinity War? Hell no. Is it Thor? No. No, this is just above par. Let's put it that way. It had its moments where I was like, "Oh, that was cool." And then it had its moments where I was like, "Oh, well, I would have done that differently, but who am I to say?"
You probably wouldn't like where I would put it on the list, Brian, but you probably wouldn't like my list in general.
No, I tend to not like your list in general, usually.
Yeah, we have different tastes.
We definitely have different tastes.
I liked it though. It wouldn't be on the bottom. It wouldn't be on the top. I would say it's close to the middle.
Do you think there's potential in Captain Marvel being the face of the MCU?
Yeah, I do now. It's a little hard to swallow, and I really want to like reflect on it some more. I think it's possible. I have faith in Feige, and I also have faith that if for whatever reason it just can't work out, that he will make the right decision of changing it.
Yeah. And with that being said, there's a rumor going around that, as we know in Endgame, there's been reshoot after reshoot after reshoot, just top secret, whatever. None of these actors know anything. A lot of people are saying these reshoots are just to mess with the actors' heads, so they can't spoil anything.
Cool.
A lot of that speculation is that the Feige did these reshoots to determine, or based off the success of Captain Marvel. So the end of Endgame is probably going to end the way that Feige hopes, based off of how I myself, going in as a naysayer, came out pleased. So
I have faith in his vision so far. I mean,
but he has done
very often it wouldn't be the way I would do it, but I've enjoyed it.
Right.
I want him to see his vision through.
Yeah, but I think he had a contingency plan as to maybe
as he should
backfire, in case the whole Captain Marvel thing wasn't backfired. I haven't been looking at reviews because we went out, we saw the premiere, and we came straight back and turned on the mic, and so I haven't been seeing what other people are saying besides the early screeners, but I don't listen to early screeners because they're usually trolls, and whatever. Yeah. Not all of them, but usually. So, at least from my experience, the ones that I deal with. But now at this point in time, unless you've got anything else that you want to talk about.
Movie-wise?
Yeah, without spoiling anything, because I want to talk like maybe 5 or 7 minutes of just like, all right, now let's talk about the exciting stuff.
I think everything I had to say.
Cool.
We talked about.
Right on.
So, where do you want to start? Do you want to start in the beginning?
All right. So this is the spoiler.
Complete spoilers.
Spoilers from here on out.
Let's not say everything.
No, we're not gonna ruin anything as far as like any. We're still gonna make you want to anticipate going to see this movie, but at the same time, there's some shit we're excited about.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with
Flarkin.
Man. Let's start with Flarkin.
So. Again, Goose, the little orange cat we talked about.
I don't know if it's Flarkin, but I'm pretty sure it's Flarkin. It's like Flurkin, or I just remember the alien name reminded me of like fur. Like that's how I have it.
Flarkin.
It was Flarkin. Okay.
That's how I remembered anyway.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, just awesome character. We see an object in this movie. Should we?
Yeah, there's an Infinity Stone in this bitch.
Yeah, we have the Tesseract.
The Tesseract.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have that in the movie.
Didn't see that coming.
No, me neither. But hindsight, it makes sense. Well, they need to conceal this and they need to hide it, and for some reason the Skrull are afraid of this cat. And then we eventually find out why.
Oh man,
I don't want to spoil it.
It is great. It is great.
It's worth the payout.
It's so good. It's so good. If you're not a cat lover, you might start liking cats after this, because the Flarkin be dope. Well, it is such a cool character design. I'm not familiar in Marvel lore if a Flarkin is a real thing, but I'm gonna do some research after this podcast because I want to know what the first appearance of a Flarkin is. Because that was really cool, and it reminded me.
Agreed. I don't remember ever reading anything like that in the comics.
No, that was dope. But with that being said, I had a feeling something was up just based off of the Skrulls interactions with them.
Like, oh, so that's not a cat. That's a Flarkin.
Yeah, and the whole time they're like, "Why, you're a little kitty witty, you're just kitty witty." And every time they like hold up the cat, and the Skrull's like, flinches back and in disgust, and you realize that they be right. And they do this when they're doing the body scans. They like scan the cat, and they're like, "This is a Flarkin, extremely dangerous." And
then they scan
Nick Fury, and he's like, "Human
male,
not little to zero threat at all."
Exactly. That thing must be broken.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was one of the hand-fisted lines. I think they could have sharpened that up a little bit. Like they needed to deliver that same message, but I think they could have sharpened that up a little.
For such like a quick throwaway scene, I liked it.
No, it's obviously not a throwaway scene because it stuck with me, and I have a short-term memory.
Fair.
So it was one of my.
True. No.
What were we talking about? Spoilers. So yeah, no, that's what we got to say about the Flarkin. Let's talk about Skrull spoilers, maybe.
Okay, you want to talk about?
Let's talk about how the Skrulls are not your antagonist.
No, they didn't make them.
And it's not like that was a big ending reveal. Like within not long into the movie after the Skrulls are established.
Halfway to the movie, I'd say.
About halfway, you're like, oh shit.
Maybe just a little further.
I liked it. Oh man, but then this was another reason I was completely wrong. Like I thought there was going to be oh shit, Ronan was a Skrull the whole time. Like I thought we were gonna maybe see like some Clint action. I thought we were gonna see a cameo of something that, I was like, oh, it was him the whole time. And originally I thought it was going to be Coulson. Because Coulson he's a Skrull immediately.
I was just waiting for something, like, even in the ending credit, I'm like, come on. Just,
no. Guys, nope. The Skrulls are dope. I like the fact that, for now, the Skrulls are friends. And, I mean, that is a huge spoiler, but I like that. I like they took that liberty. It almost makes me want to go through and pick up the book that I passed on this week, was the Meet the Skrulls. I'm going to actually go through and read that now, because the ending, when they're all sitting there in the sweaters at the dinner table, just like chilling, having dinner, talking about, just going and being Skrulls and finding the rest of the thousands that are scattered about. Mm-hmm. It's just like dirty sweatshirts and stuff, eating spaghetti.
It just kind of reminded me as like a throwback to that like shawarma scene. Like, yeah, these are heroes, but they're eating dinner. Right. And it was just like, yeah, they're aliens, but everybody's got to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was cool. Her partner, how do you sense that there's some sort of romantic whatever in there? That was something I wanted to bring up.
No.
No? You don't think so?
Didn't think so.
Okay.
I think that he manipulative on the master, and I liked that ending scene when he's like, yeah, you've earned the chance to try to fight me hand to hand.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about her old military jet fighter buddy.
Oh,
because that last hug scene, there was a couple moments in there where I was like,
no.
Like just the way that they looked at each other and the eyes sparkled and all of that.
No, I think that's just supposed to be two best friends.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be a topic for later discussion, to be honest, as movies go on. Because I think that forgive me, I can't remember her name. Do you remember her name? I don't remember her name.
I don't remember the character's name.
Yeah, but yeah, no, she was actually. You
think there's a romance there, huh?
I do. I think that there's a future romance there, because they've already hinted at there being more gay and lesbian and LGBT elemental I don't know the word letters. I'm sorry.
It could
But
be. It didn't feel
diverse.
shoved down my throat like they did it as a statement. So yeah, I mean, sure, do it
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So I know, and then that's. I thought for a moment that might be something that people were complaining about or whatever, but at the same time, none of that felt forced.
No,
It really didn't.
no, they felt like they had a legitimate friendship.
And you got to realize this is the first time they'd seen each other, and so she
6
thought
years.
she was dead,
Right.
and you just like show up and yeah. So I don't know. I thought there might have been a little something there. I think that's going to be something we might be revisiting from here on out.
That could be.
I'm just kind of disappointed. Well, and if I'm right there, then that means I'm just gonna be disappointed that we're not gonna get a Rhodey Carol Danvers relationship because that's how it is in the comics. But I don't think Don Cheadle and Brie Larson is the I don't think we're getting a Captain Machine or a War Marvel anytime soon. Or romance.
I don't know how that would. I don't know.
There's too much of an age difference there between the actors. It's
I mean, this does take place in the 90s.
Yeah, but
so again, you give it another 20 years.
They're not gonna like digitally age Brie Larson 10 years for the movies though.
No.
They're not gonna do that.
No, not.
So I don't know. It makes me wonder that because there's such a big age gap between the comics romantic relationship and that probably not going to be a thing.
There's a
and
lot
Marvel
of stuff
and
in the comics that we
but
don't get,
but that hinting with Marvel clearly announcing that there's going to be some sort of lesbian characters in the cinematic universe to come, and I immediately thought like, oh, Valkyrie's going to be the one. Didn't dawn on me that they might make Carol Danvers possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know. I mean, I have nothing against that.
No, it wouldn't bother me one bit.
And I think if they are going to do that relationship, it's cool that it's not going to be with another superhero. You know, like
definitely.
But that's all speculation.
I think that'd be better because I don't want to have that whole big old
right
back and forth bicker.
Right.
Like combat. We get that all the time. It's a
Yeah.
played out trope.
No.
Something different.
And that's the cool thing about it's not a bunch of played out tropes in this movie like a lot of people expected.
No, it really took me by surprise because yes, they used a lot of those tropes, but they didn't lean on any of them. They made you believe this would be what they would use as a crutch. Pull that out from under you.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie really stands out on its own. The character, the acting, I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we could talk about the final spoiler, but we're still not going to spoil it, so we got to tiptoe around this one.
Talking about the credit?
Let's talk about the credit scene a little bit. I did not expect that to go that way.
Me neither. No.
That was not the end credit scene I expected.
Mm-mm.
The end credit scene I expected, like I said, was going to be like the reveal of a scroll or something like that, or them going, oh shit, okay, no, scrolls were bad. They're not, there's... No. Without... I don't know if I could say this without spoiling it.
So we do find out what that device was that Fury left for the
Avengers
Avengers
that whole
team.
pager scene. We get the whole pager scene. Like, we get the origin of that at the end of the movie. Like, towards the end, she gives him the thing,
And eventually it stops beeping. And that is when we get Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah.
How they are related to the Avengers now.
Yeah.
Not at all how I had foreseen that going, but it works. I mean, I buy it.
No, it totally works. It does. I'm impressed. I did not think that they were going to be ballsy enough to give us that much of an insight of Endgame. And that is the number one reason why I went to this movie, was for that knowledge right there. Like, the scroll thing was, just to kind of get an insight. Maybe that would give me something.
Yeah,
the music thing is because I'm a music nerd. And as soon as I heard this was taking place in the 90s, I was like, there better be some grunge in this. Oh, there was one thing that I did forget to mention about the music that pissed me off before we blabble. Yeah, I'm going to divert for a second. She wore a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt the whole time. And we didn't get to hear any 9 Inch Nails.
You're right, we didn't. I mean, you can only no.
Yeah.
You can only blow Trent Reznor so much.
No, dude. No. There is no limit to the fellatio that Trent Reznor
I
deserves.
figured we would get like an end credit, something.
Dude, I'm telling you, the fact that we didn't get Rooster and we saw a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt through 60% of the movie, that was her wardrobe. And even wore a flannel wrap tied around her waist, like she knew what the hell grunge was about to be. The last time she was on Earth was 1989. I was like, all right, she's gonna automatically know what's up.
But she is wearing it at first. I mean,
No, I get it. But we needed, dude, what a tease. What a tease from this is all I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the full soundtrack is if they drop one or whatever. I don't know how they do that stuff anymore, cause yeah, but. I'm going to look. I'm waiting for it. I'm going to take a look as soon as we stop.
Special director's cut.
I will preemptively denounce my frustration for the music if they either have A, the Rooster on a soundtrack, or B, any Nine Inch Nails song. But if neither of those are on the soundtrack, then I stand by my word where they blew it on the music.
There's a lot of good 90s music, though, and those are your two must-haves.
Yeah, because they're songs that needed to happen. Like, they fit what was going on. They fit right there. They come to snub the rooster. Sorry, they're gonna sue me. Sorry, out of Sunshine. But it's come on, man. Like they and Ronan. I don't like what they did with Ronan either. But we'll leave it at that. It makes sense. I guess it makes sense what they did with Ronan. I thought he was gonna be a much bigger part. But whatever. Whatever. I don't want to end this on a poor note.
I don't know. I'm actually okay with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if Ronan fights Captain Marvel, none of what happens in Guardians of the Galaxy happens.
Takes all of her powers.
Captain Marvel fights anybody, she wins. Period.
Fair.
Said and done. So if you have that fight there, Ronan doesn't survive.
Yeah.
And obviously, because this is a prequel to previous Marvel events. We know that Ronan plays a huge part in the Tesseract and Guardians of the Galaxy and all that shit. So, if you have that fight, and that's one thing that was like really sparking my curiosity, because I knew Ronan was coming. He was tinkered at throughout the whole movie, but I was like, but you can't have her fight him, and because just for the reasons I said.
Right.
I just thought the way they copped out at the end, I was like, oh, well, you gotta give me something.
I like that, though. I mean, you have one person single-handedly destroy your fleet.
But you can't give me the Rooster? If you're gonna cop out like that, you can't at least give me the Rooster? I'm telling you, that song needed to be played right there. It needed to be played right there. It needed to happen.
Fair enough. I will say that visually, that was and that was the part of the movie that I really wanted. I wanted that Carol Danvers in space, floating, like a barrier between an alien invasion and Earth. That's the Captain Marvel part that I love.
No, it's cool, and I really hope that
we get
Alpha Flight. I want Alpha Flight now. I think I can say that I was hesitant to announce that before I saw this movie and saw what Captain Marvel was on the screen. Can she lead the Avengers? I don't know yet, but I'll be damned if she can't.
She doesn't have to lead the Avengers to be the face.
True, but I just think that they should go in an Alpha Flight direction if they want to make.
You know what? I believe they could do that.
And especially if they want to make like a strong female-driven team, because there's hints saying that the Avengers is going to be mostly female. They don't need to do that. They can keep the Avengers. But Alpha Flight, like that's their answer right there. You got their girl, Captain Marvel now. Like we got that girl, and Alpha Flight is a team full of badass bitches, man. Like that's a movie I've been wanting. I've been saying I want Alpha Flight, even though deep down I'm like I don't like Captain Marvel. But now since I saw her on screen, I'm like I think I like her enough now for me to really push for this movie.
I like Captain Marvel. But I feel like they took a C-list character from me. Because as much as I like Captain Marvel, they're pretty forgettable. I mean, there's nothing that great to stick around for me other than their powers. But I liked them. I liked how it played out.
No.
I'm interested to see the next one. Especially Endgame.
Yeah, no, I'm very curious to see where they steer that ship now because... I'm so glad that I was wrong about everything. I really am. Because I know it sounds... I got tired of being right about all my guesses. This is so different from what I thought it was going to be on damn near every level. So, with all that being said, I will end on a positive note. Took a guy that went in disliking an actress on everything that she's ever done. Even Scott Pilgrim wasn't a big fan. Saw her in Skull Island. I was like, she's already on the screen with 2 Marvel people, and I don't like her. It's there. It hurt. It hurt, especially when they announced, all of this agenda with Captain America. I don't mean agenda as in like an agenda, but as far as like a timeline for the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Right.
like their agenda. I hate that that's like a bad word now. But yeah, no, it's
you just have to be specific with what
very
you mean
specific.
now.
Yeah.
I feel like on this one, especially being white males, like we have to kind of tiptoe away with on how we say something, just because there is so many finger pointers out now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I probably said like 6 things without realizing it, but none of it is meant poorly. I'm trying to tell you guys that I would be the first person to talk shit about this movie on paper. I said it in the beginning, and I'm gonna end the podcast with that saying it. I should be the first one to hate this movie, and I have been swayed. So to that, I think all everyone that was involved, even Brie Larson. There's a movie I like. You're in now. Cool. Got it. This is something that I think is for everyone.
Yeah.
This is not...
Takeaway thoughts?
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Absolutely. Do I think I need to go see it twice? Probably not. But after I stew some things over, who knows? I might. I've probably got someone that
I'll buy it when it comes out.
Yeah.
Gotta have them all.
Yeah. Gotta have them all. Yeah, no, it was a great movie. It was, it was a great Marvel movie. Was it a brilliant Marvel movie? Was it a top tier Marvel movie? No.
No.
Was it something that
favorite.
will be forgotten? Hell no. It was right on par.
Yeah.
And
I was entertained. I enjoyed it.
Yep. All right. So we're just repeating ourselves at this point. Guys, thank you so much. We're going to post this immediately. So, yeah. You know where to find us. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Podbean, Apple, Google, Spotify. I think I cleared it all up. Instagram? Those are all the things that we do. So, yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to keep the extra content coming to you as much as we can fit into our schedule based off of previous reviews. So, yeah. Thank you all so much once again, and cheers to Captain Marvel.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.